Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining today's free 30-minute Cezanne Keratin Smoothing Treatment education hosted by Fiona Thomas. She's an OZDARE educator for Cezanne, K18 and Bison. At the end, you'll also have early access to 2 exclusive Cezanne deals before we open them to the wider HUSL community at 2 p.m. Now, I'll pass you over to Fiona.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. So I'm going to go through all the new Cezanne with everyone. So what's happened is we have just had Cezanne has just been repackaged and reformulated with new care ingredients. So Cezanne as a company is about 10 years old, and as some of you know who have used Cezanne, it needed a nice update, so it has been done. Just to give you an idea, that's what the new packaging is. So that's your new blonde Cezanne. And then we've got the classic Cezannes in the blue bottle now. So it's actually going to be much easier for you to find when you go to get them, because they were almost in the same packaging before. You really had to read the labels. So I'll give you an idea of what's happened with Cezanne. There are a couple of new products in the range. One of the great things with the Cezanne and the packaging is you've still got your classic, you've got your blonde, you still have the express. The express is in 300ml or 295ml packaging still, so you've still got your smaller bottles. We have also now bought in bottle at 118ml. So we actually have 3 different sizes now, and that will come in your classic blonde, your classic, your express. Great for someone who just wants to do 1 or 2 people. And we've got a smaller size, which is something that we do get asked for a lot. We used to have them a few years ago. They got deleted, but within the new range, they've actually brought the new range out now as well with the 3 different sizes. As we go through, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask or put them in the chats. Marmy can let me know if there's any particular questions that we need to go through. But to give you an idea of the Cezanne, is everyone using Cezanne?
I've used it a fair bit, yeah.
Yep, beautiful.
I used it a couple of years ago.
Okay. So you will find probably one of the biggest differences is it smells better. And even in saying that, the smell wasn't bad before. The smell was really nice. It smells nicer. It is still 100% formaldehyde-free, which is something we're very big on. Obviously, it's law not to have formaldehyde in the product. But it's also, some companies will have a hidden formaldehyde, but we can say that this is 100% formaldehyde-free. You will notice too, when you're using the product and your rinsing is even faster and easier to come out of the hair. You're still really going to follow your same rules. We've actually knocked out a step through your application. So your application will actually be faster now. So in turn, your actual service should be faster as well. So just to go over the Cezanne and the differences, it is for a smoothing. It is not a straightening system. So I think the main thing when we talk about Cezanne to our clients is that we do not oversell it. Don't oversell it as a straightening system. It is a smoothing system. It's for shiny, healthier hair without compromising the hair at all. In some cases, depending on the curl, yes, the clients will get quite a beautiful, sleek result out of it. But the bonus is if they want some wave when they've shampooed their hair, their wave will come back, but it'll be much, much nicer to blow dry, much nicer to handle, and much nicer if they just want to wash it and leave it as well. So I think that's one of the biggest bonuses. But something I'd always say is do not oversell it. It is, as I said, 100% formaldehyde-free. It has no sodium, no parabens, no sulfates, no phthalates, no harmful toxins. You shouldn't be getting any vapors or gases, fumes from the product. So in the sense of in a salon, we don't have to have air conditioning on, all the windows and doors open. You could have this service getting done in your salon at every chair with everything closed up and no one would know what was happening. Okay, so it's something that you shouldn't have any gases or anything coming off the hair. You've got with your classic, so your classic and your classic blonde, up to 5 months. And we always talk about up to 5 months because it will depend on the client's hair and also their aftercare as to how they're looking after it, as to how long it's going to last. So up to 5 months. And then you've got your express, which realistically we say up to around 8 to 10 weeks. It is dermatologist tested, and because it has no formaldehyde in it, it is just more of your high performance smoothing system. By, as I just said before, by doing your smoothing system on the hair, it will be better for your blow drying and better for the clients if they do want to wash and leave. So nicer for them to actually look after their hair at home. So we're just looking at taming down the curls, taming down the frizz, and making, I guess, high maintenance hair less maintenance, making it much, much easier to look after. If we talk about why you'd use Cezanne and why you'd choose Cezanne over other ranges, I mean, there are a lot on the market. Again, 100% formaldehyde-free. We're not breaking the bonds in the hair. We're smoothing the hair. We are not straightening. It is fantastic for humidity and reducing your frizz. So Cezanne does really well if you're in Queensland. Queensland is probably one of our biggest markets. And even for us, I'm based in Melbourne. In Melbourne, you know, say from about September, October through to March, April is possibly our biggest selling months. That tends to be when we sell the most because of the weather. And then I find it still happens in the cooler months in Melbourne because we're then getting people ready to go away on holiday. And especially if they're going to Bali or they're going up north, people are still having it done because they're going to humidity type scenarios. So when someone's had the Cezanne, we can reduce the blow dry time. Your colour services can be done before or after the treatment. So in the case of colour, whether it be foil work or permanent colour work, a semi, a demi, you can do them on the day. I still like to say to people, you know, for me, doing it in a salon, if I do it on, you know, any of my friends, I like to actually do the Cezanne and actually do their colour 2 or 3 days later. And I think of that, it's the old way of, you know, how we used to perm. It's nice to actually do the service, get them in a couple of days later and do their colour. And that way we can back up what we've just done as well. So we can actually ask the client, how are you going with your hair? How are you maintaining it? We might be the first ones to then shampoo the hair again. So I think that's a great way to actually follow up what we've just done with the client. So yes, we can definitely colour on the day, but I still like to wait 2 or 3 days to do that colour service. Because you've got your blonde and your classic versions, we don't have to worry about the hair having a regrowth. It'll work on uneven colour surface. So if the hair is regrowth and then coloured, we don't have to use 2 different mixtures or anything. We can just use the one through. It doesn't have to be an even surface of regrowth and colour, which is something that I found when I started working with the Cezanne much, much easier for a salon situation. When you're doing the service in salon, you can actually apply the product and pin the hair up. So say if you apply the product in the 4 different sections, you can actually apply it, twirl it, and put a butterfly clip on it. It doesn't have to remain straight. The main thing is we're getting the product into the hair. We're getting the keratin into the hair, but that is what's doing the smoothing, but we don't have to leave the hair sitting straight. The bonus for a client when they leave, we can do the blow dry, and then they can actually walk out with their hair in a ponytail if they want. They can walk out with their hair in clips and pinned up. For a client, they could leave you and go to the gym because they can shampoo their hair the same day. So it's not that they have to have the service done and not do anything to it for, 3, 4, 5 days.
That's amazing.
That's a bonus for a client.
And can I just quickly jump in? You know what? I think that's actually a really good selling point, I think, for stylists. I know that when I'm on the floor, to be able to offer a service like that it's not going to kind of hinder their day, obviously their plans, going to the gym, things like that. And if there's somebody that always likes to have, like you mentioned, having that ponytail, knowing that they can just chuck it back up to a style that they absolutely love, is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, a really good selling point for sure.
It's also great too, like think of those clients that come in, say they've got a function that night, and you decide that day they need to have an express done to get the most out of their hair, you can do the express service, finish it, and as we know, we always finish it with the straightening. Finish it with the straightening, but if you want to put bounce into that client's hair in big waves, you can then go back over that hair and actually put the wave into the hair. So they don't have to leave the salon with dead straight hair, as in straight. If you want to let them leave the salon with some bounce, they can still leave the salon with a style. So I think that's a big thing as well for a client if they're going out somewhere and they've got a function on. The key ingredients have changed slightly with the new formula. So the new formula is a glyoxylic acid. So this is vegan. It is formaldehyde-free, as we said. The product itself, we can't say it is vegan. So on the packaging, it no longer says gluten-free and it no longer says vegan. It also has hydrolyzed keratin in there, because obviously it's a keratin-based product. So the hydrolyzed keratin helps to rebuild the hair's natural protective layer from the inside of the cuticle. It helps to increase the strength, increase the strand diameter, and it's ideally designed to help and make the hair feel a little bit thicker. It also has in it hydrolyzed quinoa. So it's a protein containing 17 amino acids, including essential oils. These will help to penetrate into the hair shaft and help to give the hair protection. So in the previous formula, we had hydrolyzed silk protein, which is from the silkworm, and we had aloe vera as a conditioning agent. So now we're looking at hydrolyzed keratin, the hydrolyzed quinoa, and the glyoxylic acid. When we talk about the hydrolyzed keratin or the hydrolyzed protein that's in the hair, that's actually from sheep's wool. So it's actually from sheep in New Zealand. So actually get that ingredient out of New Zealand. This is your other reason why we can't say it is vegan, because it's coming from the sheep's wool. So obviously nothing's getting harmed because it's when they're getting sheared, but that's where we're getting the most protein, is coming out of that sheep's wool. And they have gone to New Zealand for it because that is where the best protein is that they can get, that they have found, which is great. Some other ingredients that have gone into it now are argan kernel oil, olive fruit oil, there's green tea, sugarcane, there's still aloe vera leaf juice, apple fruits, green tea, and meadow fomate is in there as well. So it's still got a lot of care ingredients. Obviously now that it's been reformulated in the past 12 months, we have a lot of new care ingredients that have come through that we wouldn't have known about 10 years ago, or may not ever have existed. Okay. Any questions so far? So I'll just go over.
I'm so new to it, so I'm just sort of listening in and seeing what it's all about.
So when, like, if anyone wants more information, I can give Marmy more information afterwards as too that she can share. But when we do the Cezanne, we do offer training. But you can actually now do a Cezanne course online. You'll do it direct with the US. And we can actually give you a code because you pay to do it. And you get a certificate to say you've done the training. Marmy can give you a code so that you don't pay for it. And you can actually do your own. It's about a 2-hour training, and you do your own online training with the US to do Cezanne and get a certificate for it, which is actually a great thing to do. Plus, we at OZDARE do trainings with all of our salons and our clients as well. But that's something that might interest, a lot of you, to do a 2-hour training where you can actually sit down and do it at 10 o'clock at night when the kids are asleep, and it makes it much easier. But I can definitely share the code with Marmy so that you're doing that for free.
And it's great that, you can print out the certificate or the qualification and put it in a little frame at the point of sale. And it just gives that extra kind of credibility that you know what you're doing. And I suppose when it comes to pricing that service as well, you can say, hey, I'm actually qualified I did a certificate on this. So, it just shows that extra value with the service cost. And just quickly, I think I already know the answer to this question, but I'll get Fiona to answer Angela. Angela has asked, hey, Marmy, I'd love to ask if the fumes from the process from the process when adding heat creates a formaldehyde type gas?
If the product has if your straightening product has a hidden formaldehyde in it, yes, it does. This is 100% formaldehyde free, so you won't get the gases from it. We also teach you to do lower heat with your settings, so it's all about less heat, less air coming through with your dryer. But there are some out there that have what we say a hidden formaldehyde. So there's not a formaldehyde in the product until heat is added, and the minute you add heat, you form a gas, and then it becomes formaldehyde. But we can categorically say this has no formaldehyde in it whatsoever. I can tell you it doesn't because I'm actually allergic to it. And I know from, 15, 20 years ago when they first came out doing it, I could be in a salon throwing up. I could walk into a salon as a sales rep and go straight out the back and throw up. And I know it could be 2 hours since they did a service, but the gas was still in the air. When I was first told, 4.5 years ago that I had to teach Cezanne, it's like dread. And the first time I did it, amazing. So I can vouch for the fact that we have no formaldehyde because I can do 3 or 4 of these in a row in a day, have no issue at all. So I'm a good one to test that. You'll also get now too when you order, we've got booklets, and a larger booklet is one that, so there's one for the client to take home, and there's actually something that you can have in the salon. So there's actually really nice booklets that we've put together now that has a whole lot of information on the products. I'll give you an idea. That is the new packaging. So it's got all new, it's actually gone square packaging, and everything has a pump on it. So
Nice.
except your litre bottles, because we don't want the air getting into them, but everything else will have a pump on it. So retail wise, for example, that's your clarifying shampoo. And I'll be first to admit it needed to be redone. It was pretty ugly. This is your retail size, is also your litre for the basin. So that's your clarifying shampoo. As we know, when we're using the Cezanne, this is the first thing we use at the basin. This is what we need to prep the hair with at the basin, is the clarifying shampoo. And a lot of people ask, we've already got clarifying shampoos at the basin, can we just use what we've got? The answer always is use your Cezanne clarifying shampoo, because the ingredients in here actually match what's in the bottle. So the shampoo and conditioner, even for take home for clients, everything matches what we're doing in the service. So they actually all have a keratin base to them. When we're using the clarifying shampoo, say if a client came in and their hair was really dirty, you can either do 2 clarifying shampoos, or in the case of someone in a salon, if any of you have got the K18, you can use the K18 detox shampoo, because the pH is 3.8. So we can do a first shampoo with a K18 detox, really cleanse the hair, but the second shampoo must be done with a Cezanne clarifying. Okay, it does make a difference to the way you're prepping the hair. When we're using the Cezanne clarifying shampoo, it takes the hair to a pH of a 7. So what we're doing is we're slightly opening the cuticle, because that helps to aid in the absorption of the actual keratin product. So it is specifically formulated to work with the Cezanne services. If we use some different clarifying shampoos, they actually may over dry the hair or open the hair too much. So you're actually starting on a different pH level. So that's why we talk about definitely work with your Cezanne clarifying shampoo if you can. And in most cases, and Marmy will share with you, your packages will include either a retail size or a 1 litre clarifying shampoo for when you're starting out. And I know I've got salons that will buy just this because they love this as a clarifying shampoo. They may not even use Cezanne, but they love that as a shampoo. Again, it has no parabens in there, and it is good for every hair type. So it is just a beautiful clarifying shampoo.
Great. I have a quick question, if that's okay,
Yep.
Fiona. See, can you share some examples of how salons successfully package or upsell their Cezanne treatments with other services?
I always, when I'm teaching it in salon, I always teach people to actually do it as a package. So it's the same as if I was doing color correction. I always had a package and the client took the correct shampoo and conditioner home to do it at the same time. So I don't want to spend, hours on someone's hair to have them go home and use supermarket products. Same thing when we're doing a Cezanne or a keratin service. Try and work it together as a package. Price-wise, I'll send some pricing through or something through that Marmy will be able to share. Price-wise, you're probably wanting to charge short hair. I would say you're charging around, say, $400 to $550 per service, including your shampoo and conditioner. A service is probably costing you on, let's say, medium length hair. On average, you're using 60 ml of product, because when we're talking about using Cezanne, less is best. We never want to flood the hair with product. We never want to have product in the comb when we're combing it through. So less product on the hair is best. You're getting a lot of product out of a bottle. If you did shampoo, conditioner, and the service, it's possibly costing you about $80 max, I would say, per service. So if you were charging that at $400 to $550, that seems to be, for Melbourne, for example, that seems to be the going rate of what people are charging.
Right.
That helps.
Thank you. Can I just ask how long the service takes as well?
The service, if you're doing the express, we'd probably say about 1:45 to 2 hours. And for the classic, we'd probably say 2 to 2.5 hours, just depending on the length of the hair.
Okay, thank you.
The first one will always take you longer. And then once you get into it, when we're doing the application now, we've always talked about the application and then massaging it into the hair. You no longer need to massage it into the hair. It's apply it to the hair, comb it straight through, drop your next section. So I've actually taken out the massage side of your application.
Is that only with the new formulation, or can you still do that with the old formulation?
You probably could get away with it with the old formulation. The new formulation's probably slightly thinner. So if you've still got the old formulation, I'd probably still keep massaging it through.
Okay.
And I know even for us, when we were training with it and working with it a few weeks ago, automatically I kept massaging it through because it's something that I'm so used to doing. I still kept doing it. And that's going to take a while for me to stop doing because that's what I'm used to doing.
It's a pretty quick service though.
Exactly.
And the results is just amazing. Like the condition of the hair afterwards is better than what it started with.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the other things too, when you're looking at say if we had a client come in, I've always explained it to people that, they say, how do you know which one to use? I always explain it that if you want to use the classic, think about the client for a level 1 to a level 5.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking blonde, think about the client level 6 to level 9. So a client, when they're even at a 5, they can still be a little bit warm, but most clients at a level 6 to 9 are coloured, or they're lighter, or they have foils in their hair. So automatically want them to be blonde. When we're looking at the two formulas, they are exactly the same, except that one has purple pigment. You may find the purple pigment slightly stronger than it used to be. So if you've got both of them in salon, you can now mix the two together. So say if you're thinking, I want to do classic, but I've got a little bit of blonde foil there, add a little bit of blonde. So we can now tone without overtoning. So I think that's something that's great because, some will have one or the other, but now people can have both. And as I said earlier, you've got the 3 different sizes. So you've got your 295, your 118 and your 1 litre. So, some people will buy a large one of this, but get the purple, but they might get the 295 ml, for example, and use it as almost like an additive. So I think that's a big bonus, big option that we've got now that we can use.
That's pretty cool, Fiona. I like that.
Does that make sense to everyone?
Yep.
Being able to do that. So it's almost like you can make your own colour now with your keratin service, which is a bonus.
Sorry, if you were to do it on someone quite blonde, just the purple, is it going to overtone the hair or?
If you sit there watching it, and I did this in a salon a few weeks ago, and I watched, even the client said to me, she knew I was nervous because I thought this client's going to be blue. And when we rinsed it and blow dried, it was stunning. But, if you've got someone who's quite porous, yes, they might overtone a little bit. The minute you think you're going to overtone, make sure you've mixed the two together. In most cases, you don't tend to overtone. It's usually pretty good. One of the things I will say with your blonde and with both, they both need to be shaken. I don't know if you've ever known that before, but when you're using the smoothing system, it has very heavy ingredients in there, so everything drops to the bottom. So when you first
can I just say something? Is it suitable for a level 10 or no?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and you'd use the blonde?
Use the blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will get a beautiful result.
Yeah.
So when you first go to use it, always check the lids on. We don't want it going everywhere. I tend to tip it upside down and let it run, and then actually shake it this way and shake it through, especially with your blonde, because your blonde's got the extra violet pigment in there. So you don't want to get to the bottom of the bottle and then have this dark purple pigment in with what's left of your keratin, because then you are going to be overtoning. So make sure you're definitely shaking and moving that around and working with it. And you're shaking it every time you use it. So every time you use the bottle, make sure you're shaking it. And I know when I'm in a salon and training, I actually tend to stand there and just shake the bottles, like when people are applying it, getting it ready. So that is really important, to make sure you're shaking the bottles all the time, to make sure all the ingredients are always through.
Can I, has somebody else got any other questions before I announce the two Cezanne deals that we have available for a limited time? Has anybody got any other questions? No, all good. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Now, you have early access to two Cezanne deals. They are found in the wholesale shop in your HUSL app just by tapping on wholesale shop from your home screen. Tap on flash deals tab and you will see there are two Cezanne deals. One is for the classic smoothing treatment and one is for the beautiful ultimate blonde. They're just some small little starter kits. They are the $2.95 300 size, obviously of the clarifying shampoo and then the classic treatment. And then again, the same except with the ultimate blonde treatment as well. A bottle of the $2.95, you get about 5 approximately applications. Is that correct, Fiona?
The $2.95, yep, 5 applications, and then your 1 litre, you're looking around about 16.5 applications. So if you look at, for example, your Ultimate Blonde, it's possibly $47 per application for the $2.95 ml. If you bought a 1 litre, it's about $35 per application.
Great, thanks for the breakdown. So we have those two little Cezanne deals, one with the classic, one with the ultimate blonde. So just purchase the $2.95 of the clarifying shampoo, $2.95 ml of the classic, for example, and you receive 1 set of the take-home shampoo conditioner relative to those smoothing treatments. So you'll get them for free. So that's a really cool little starter kit to start off with. We only have 3 deals each of those available in our warehouse. So I'm giving you guys some early access now. At 2 p.m. today, I will be doing the announcement to our wider HUSL community. So if you want to jump in and grab them before they're gone, I'm expecting them to be gone very quickly. please do it before 2 p.m. today. So tap on flash deals in the wholesale shop in your HUSL app, and you will find them. If you cannot find them, or if you have any other questions at all, please tap on Get Help in app and go ahead and ask your questions. I'll make sure I watch out for them. If that is everything, Fiona?
I'll just add a couple of things, and you probably want to make sure the other lady who just left does it, because she does a lot. Heat-wise on your straighteners, we've always taught you about 160. With the new product, you can go up to about 200 to 210 degrees. No higher than 210. On average, you're probably using it about 180, 185. But for really thick, wiry, strong hair, yes, you can take it to about 193 to 210. If you're working on that type of hair with your product, you can actually leave the product on for an extra 10 minutes. So instead of a 30-minute development, take it for 40. So they're two new things that have come through with application.
Great. Now, Monday coming, 5th of May, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, we have our next 30-minute online education, and it will be presented by Bo Walker and Greg Candlish. They will be talking to us and training us about Pod by EcoHeads, the pod colouring system. Now, we obviously do sell the EcoHead shower head through the HUSL app as well in our wholesale shop. So it's great if you want to know information about the pod colouring system. Please jump in to the free session this Monday, 5th of May at 1 p.m. The event page is in the Facebook group, but again, if you can't find it, please reach out, get help, and I can send you the direct link to connect. Fiona, thank you once again.
Have a good week.